Hello, my name is Chris Snavely, and I'll be talking to you today about blue zones and health. What are blue zones? Blue zones are regions or areas in the world where the people that inhabit the area live long, healthy, and active lives well into their 90s and 100s. A centenarian is a person who has lived to be age 100 or older. National Geographic partnered with journalist Dan Buettner to do a research project on blue zones that took over 5 years. Buettner and a team of researchers identified 5 places around the world where people live measurably longer and healthier lives. They found that in these areas, the people reach age 100 at rates up to 10 times greater than in the United States. After identifying these blue zones, Buettner and his team went to each place to identify the lifestyle characteristics that might explain their longevity. The 5 blue zones identified were Okinawa, Japan; Icaria, Greece; Sardinia, Italy; the Nicoya Peninsula in Costa Rica; and Loma Linda, California. Okinawa is an exotic group of islands off the coast of Japan. The Okinawans practice what is called hara hachibu, which means eat until you are 80% full. It takes 20 minutes for your stomach to tell your brain you are full, and by practicing hara hachibu, the Okinawans avoid overeating. The Okinawans' health also revolves around their gardens, in which they spend lots of time tending and eating the herbs and vegetables, which are rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. Being out in the sun a lot also provides them with the necessary vitamin D for good bone health. The Okinawans try to maintain a positive outlook on life, living for their ikigai, or their reason for waking up in the morning. The Okinawans also form groups of lifelong friends who act as social, emotional, and financial support networks. Icaria, Greece, lies deep within the Aegean Sea, 35 miles off the coast of Turkey. This isolated population is rich in tradition, family values, health, and long life. Chronic diseases are a rarity in Icaria. Their diet consists of lots of whole grains, olive oil, fruit, and fish. Goat milk and wine are also traditional in Icaria, and both are loaded with antioxidants. The people live in a mountainous area in which walking is in their daily routine. Napping is also something that the Icarian people take time out of their day to do, and this reduces stress, promotes relaxation, and reduces likelihood of cardiovascular disease. Sardinia is an island off the coast of Italy. Sardinia has traditionally been home to shepherds and farmers, so it has a high number of males living into their 90s and 100s. Here you will find 10 times the number of centenarians per 1,000 people than you would in the United States. Sardinians have a positive attitude about life and have a sarcastic sense of humor that helps them shed stress. Walking is a big part of the lifestyle in Sardinia, since many men are shepherds and farmers. One of the secrets of the Sardinians' longevity is in their diet. They consume milk and cheese made from goats rather than cows. These goats feed on dwarf curry, which is used to make anti-inflammatory drugs in the United States. Also, lots of dark red wine, farva beans, and barley are typical staples in their diet. The Nicoya Peninsula is an 80-mile strip of land just south of the Nicaraguan border. The water in this area is rich with calcium and magnesium, and the diet of the Nicoyan people is filled with colorful and nutrient-dense food. The people living here have been found to have twice the chance of reaching age 90 than people in the United States. Nicoyans have a lack of electricity, which results in them being in bed at an earlier time and helps them average 8 hours of sleep per day. The Nicoyans also have a plan de vida, or reason to live. This sense of purpose usually revolves around spending time with and providing for their family. The centenarians here often retain active lifestyles, reaping the benefits from physical activity and exposure to the sun. Loma Linda is strangely located in the United States, just 90 miles east of Los Angeles, and contains the longest lived people in America. The main characteristic of Loma Linda is that a majority of the population, around 9,000 to be exact, are Seventh-day Adventists. This branch of the Christian religion built a culture based on health, which encourages vegetarianism and discourages alcohol, smoking, and soda. These people incorporate regular exercise, spas and relaxation centers, and cutting-edge medicine into their lifestyles. Adventists linked eating meat to increased risk of heart disease, so in turn they replaced eating meat with eating nuts, which showed a decreased risk of heart disease. Adventists are very family and community focused, and those values stem from their religion. Their culture values volunteering and helping others, which helps fight depression and release stress. The practice of preventative medicine in this population helps them enjoy less risk of diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. Now, the big misconception, especially in this country, is that health is based on complicated medicines and expensive modern technological therapies. But that's just not the case. That's the case here in America because our culture doesn't focus on preventative medicine yet, and we put our health in the back seat, and when symptoms arise, we go looking for the pill to fix it. What it really comes down to is lifestyle choice. The 5 blue zones were found to share 9 similar lifestyle characteristics. These were called the Power 9. The people living in the blue zones all move naturally, engaging in activities that make them move without thinking about it. The longest living people in the world don't pump iron or run marathons, they just move naturally as part of their daily routine. Second, the people living in these blue zones all have a purpose for waking up in the morning. Research has found that knowing your sense of purpose can add up to 7 years onto your life. These people also downshift or find ways to unwind, relax, and relieve stress. Stress is related to every major age-related disease, so finding ways to relieve your stress is very important. Next, the people in the blue zones eat their largest meal in the morning and smallest meal last. This is called the 80% rule, and the Okinawans call it harahachibu, and it gives time for your brain to recognize that it's full. Next, the diet of the people in these areas includes lots of fresh plants, fruits, vegetables, beans, soy, and lentil. Meat is only eaten 5 to 10 times a month. With the exception of Adventists and Loma Linda, all the blue zones consume wine or alcohol moderately or regularly. Drinking 1 to 2 glasses of wine per day with dinner or friends provides lots of healthy antioxidants. Moderate drinkers also have been shown to outlive non-drinkers. A majority of the populations belong to a faith-based community. The type or denomination did not matter, merely just participating in a faith-based service 3 to 4 times a month has been shown to add 4 to 14 years onto your life. Second to last, the Blue Zones cultures were focused on putting loved ones first. They take care of their elderly, commit to lifelong partners, and invest in their children with time and love. Finally, all the people living in the Blue Zones were born into or chose to become a part of a community that supports healthy behaviors. The Okinawans create groups of 5 friends that commit to each other for life. Research from the Framingham studies shows that smoking, obesity, happiness, and loneliness are contagious. This means it's important to set good examples of healthy lifestyle behaviors because we are shaping the minds and cultures of our young people. What we all have to remember is that we all have the choice of how we're going to live, and it's never too late to start to live blue. If our society wants to become healthier and live longer, then we need to start transitioning away from processed and fast foods and activities that don't require any physical activity, such as playing video games or watching TV. The answer is a healthier diet, daily physical activity, strong values, social networks, and stress relief techniques. Dan Buettner wrote a book on Blue Zones and the research he did with National Geographic. He also created the Blue Zones organization, and their website is www.bluezones.com and contains information on his research, what's being done to make the U.S. more blue, ways to live a Blue Zone life, and tools to use in your personal life. Check out the links below and the 2 YouTube videos on Blue Zones and Dan Buettner's findings and research. The last link takes you to a page of recipes based on the diets of the people living in the 5 blue zones of the world. I encourage you guys to try a couple of them and see how you like them. Now, I have a few discussion questions for you guys to answer. First, what is health based on to you, and what determines how healthy someone is? Second, what are 3 things that you learned from the lifestyles of the people in the 5 blue zones that you could adopt into your own life? Third, take the True Happiness test and the Life Expectancy Survey. How did you score? What was your life expectancy? Are the results what you thought they would be? Why or why not? And those tests are located on the last page. And that's the end of my presentation. I hope you guys liked it, and have a good day.